Hey, gang, I've got a big announcement to make to you. This is the only time today you'll see me on television. I'll explain in just a moment. I just took Colorado -3.5 at Arizona State. Whoops, there it is. There's my proof. Coach Prime. I'm hanging with Coach Prime. I mean, they had a big comeback last week. So actually, I'm just looking at my recent record here. Yeah, Washington. Chicago, damn, Chicago came out of nowhere, but fun stuff for the Chicago team. All right, anyway, what did I want to say? I wanted to say it's a Saturday. There's a lot of great college football going on. The Bet Parks Casino app, New Jersey, Ohio, Maryland. I'm looking at you. Colorado, a 3.5-point favorite at Arizona State. I like Colorado. Ohio State, 19.5-point favorite hosting Maryland. Like, the unpredictability of college football is really amazing, isn't it? Texas, 5.5-point favorite versus Oklahoma. A whole card of other college games. You got the baseball playoffs. I don't like this. Atlanta favored in game one, hosting Philadelphia. And then, of course, tomorrow, a whole slew of other games in action. I'm enjoying having a little skin in the game. As they say, I bet with my head not over it. I went 25 large on Colorado today, which for me means $25, and that'll be the extent of my my wagering today. Join me right now. Download the Bet Parks Casino and Sportsbook app. New customers make a winning $10 bet, get $125 in bonus sportsbook bets back. Got to be a winning bet, and bonus bets must be wagered once. It's the only betting app that I use myself and recommend. You got to be 21 and in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Okay, where do I begin? I begin, first of all, by expressing my my sadness at the fact that there is now, well, I'll take Benjamin Netanyahu's word for it, war in the Middle East, insofar as he says Israel is now at war because of an unprovoked attack from Hamas. So the death count, always shaky at this point. I'm looking off at CNN as I'm speaking to you, is at 22, comes at a very odd time. And by that, I mean that that Netanyahu has been under such fire because of the protests that have been launched by Israelis after his so-called attempt at judicial overhaul, which is largely predicated on the desire by settlers in the West Bank to not have the court in their way as they continue to expand their footprint. I think that's the safest, most accurate way that I could say it. And so it comes at an odd time because there's been such Israeli opposition to Netanyahu. And I think that the move by Hamas, not only sending rockets, but also crossing the border with soldiers and with a paraglider, at least one that I saw, is going to cause a rallying around the Israeli flag meaning Netanyahu, by the Israeli people, at a time when politically he was vulnerable. This is going to empower or embolden him, I would think. This is all off-the-cuff analysis that you will hear from me only right here on YouTube, because even though I'm dressed, even though I'm in my studio and ready for action, I'm not on television today. I just got the word that I have been bumped in favor of, and how could I be upset about this? It's Wolf Blitzer. I mean, Wolf's the man. So yeah, this is true breaking news. CNN is going to go wall-to-wall coverage with the situation in Israel today, and they are bringing in Wolf, and I have no issue with that. Such is my respect for Wolf. Notwithstanding the fact that usually the Saturday 9 a.m. hour has the highest ratings on the network all day long, but in a case like this, I totally get it. He's got the expertise, he's got the sort of stature. He's the person that I think people come to CNN in a circumstance like this, not to see the bald guy from Philly who's pretty handsome and funny and erudite, but in a case like this, you got to go to Wolf. So that's the deal. So I wanted to say that Mike Clark says, okay, maybe you do a YouTube show instead. Well, can I just take a moment and tell you a couple of things? Yeah, and now I've got guests asking me. Actually, I just got a text while I'm speaking to you from Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, who wants confirmation that we are not doing our segment today. Hang on. I have to tell the congressman that we're not doing our thing. So sorry. Yes, Israel just bumped everything. I know that the thumbnail for this conversation referenced Secretary Clinton and the deprogramming issue. But let me just take a moment, having told you about the situation in Israel and the fact that I will not, just making sure, says the congressman. Yeah. And the fact that I won't be on television, tell you what I would have been doing today. And some of it, the tone would have been appropriate. And some of it just would have been awkward or off, even though I was really looking forward to it. I've said this to you about radio, that I walk out the door many times and I say to TC, I didn't like that segment, or I wish I'd said something better, more clearly, funnier, whatever. I mean, I'm very hard on the programs that I do. I really am. I'm very analytical, self-reflective, and critical, all of the above. It's rare that I would, as I did last night at dinner, say to my family, this is going to be a hell of a show, the CNN show. And I did say that at dinner. And I went to bed so comfortable last night in what we were about to do. So here's what we were about to do. This is, you know how I had May Pang on radio yesterday talking about the lost weekend? By the way, have you watched that interview on my YouTube channel? You have to. So this is the lost show. Here, I'm gonna share with you the lost show that will never air on CNN. I was going to do a commentary today, and the poll question will remain: should Democrats join moderate Republicans to select the next Republican House Speaker? Should Democrats join moderate Republicans to select the next Republican House Speaker? And my answer to that is yes. If you've listened to me on radio, you've heard me make the case. On radio, it's often that I'm spitballing and I'm organized in my thoughts, but I'm also seat of the pants. But I'd written a commentary on exactly that subject. Sugar. If I had it in front of me, I'd actually share some of it with you. And Brian Fitzpatrick, who's the co-chair of the Problem Solvers, as I just made reference to him, was to be my guest. Like, he's the guy that the Wall Street Journal referenced in their editorial on exactly this issue and said, what about a guy like him? And what I was going to do in the commentary was to present Kevin McCarthy versus Jim Jordan, because, Jim Jordan now has the advantage over Steve Scalise to become the next Republican House Speaker. And the gist of the commentary that I was going to deliver on CNN today was one of, be careful what you wish for. You didn't want to support McCarthy. And I'm focused on Democrats, even though I blame the 8 Republicans. I'm focused on the Democrats now. And I'm saying, you didn't want Kevin McCarthy. Not a single one of you voted for him. Okay, now you're going to get, instead, Jim Jordan. And Jim Jordan, who would not have prevented default with the debt ceiling rise, who probably would not have kept the government open last weekend. And the Democrats, and I think Josh Gottheimer pretty much said this to Joe Scarborough yesterday, said, well, this is a family fight. We're the Democratic family, they're the Republican family. Well, then you're not a problem solver. Like, why isn't this America's fight? Wasn't this a perfect opportunity for Democrats to appear magnanimous, reach across the aisle, and get something done, which in this case would have been keeping Kevin McCarthy in office until the continuing resolution is resolved and we know the government's going to stay open? So that's the commentary that I won't get to deliver on CNN, with a great guest in Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, who really represents a purple district, the one in which I was born and raised. And he would have been a great guest. And I would have asked him Are you open to a move where your name would be put forth as House Speaker with the support of moderate Republicans and Democrats? That's the question that I would have asked him. Okay, then how about this? Oh my God, this would have been such a great show. Richard Gephardt, Congressman Dick Gephardt himself, not only serving many terms in Congress, but also Gephardt ran for president, maybe twice. But he now heads a super PAC that has no labels in its target because you've got so much third-party activity now taking place. No labels on the ballot in 10 states and growing. Robert F. Kennedy here in Philadelphia, blocks from where I'm now seated, making an announcement on Monday. I'm wondering if he's now going to announce that he's running as a Green Party candidate, and if that's why Cornel West has moved out of the Greens and is going to run independent. Much easier to run as a Green Party candidate than to try and go and get on a bunch of ballots. But Cornel West is out there, Marianne Williamson is out there, RFK is out there, and of course, No Labels is out there. And Gephardt, Congressman Gephardt is leading this effort to try and sort of politically speaking, cut the knees off No Labels, because he's of the opinion that all of this activity is to the benefit of Donald Trump. And I really was eager. Here's my first question to Gephardt. I was going to say to him, what do you say to the 63% of us, according to Gallup this week, who don't want only a Republican and Democratic choice? And isn't it undemocratic if you try and denude the efforts of No Labels? I mean, how is that a good thing? Okay, then I was going to have Professor Ann Case from Princeton University, who just did that analysis with a co-author. She was a great radio guest. She was going to talk about how, this is just stunning, the longevity of college graduates is 8.5 years longer than those who don't have a college degree. Like, what explains that? And how do we fix it? I was going to have her on CNN to talk about that body of work. I mean, oh my God, Fitzpatrick, Gephardt, Professor Case, awesome. And then, you ready for this? Because you've heard me talk about Naked Attraction on POTUS this week, the TV show from the UK that is now a hit on HBO Max, where the contestants, it's a reality dating show, they get buck naked and you see everything. And the so-called picker has to get naked before making his or her final selection. Yeah, that show, the host, Anna Richardson, was booked on CNN. So, war in the Middle East. And I'm not making light of it. I'm not. I'm just telling you, because I spent my entire day yesterday with my team writing these scripts and preparing all these segments that won't make the cut. Finally, to come back to where I began for the thumbnail conversation, Secretary Clinton, Hillary, saying that the devoted supporters of former President Trump are like cult members and they may need to be deprogrammed, which of course is reminiscent of 2016 when she said that half of the Trump supporters belonged in, and I'm paraphrasing, doing this from memory, but I'm pretty secure in my recollection, that they needed to be, that they were a basket of deplorables. She said, as I remember, that half of the Trump people were drawn to restore America in a way that no longer exists. Like she was understanding of half, but half, she said, were just racists and haters. Are some of them, and I'm going to talk about this, I'm sure, on Monday, are some of them racists and haters? Yeah, I'm sure that some of them are racists and haters, but some of them, as per that great book that Ben Bradley Jr. wrote called The Forgotten, focused on Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, in northeastern Pennsylvania. Some of them are just people who feel like they're getting the short end of the stick. They've been passed by every other group. It actually relates, frankly, it relates to the subject I referenced a moment ago of those without a college degree having a lifespan 8.5 years shorter than those who have a college degree. A lot of them are white working class who think they're getting the shaft, or to quote the book title, that they are the forgotten. Are they deplorables? No. Are they a cult? No. Do they need to be deprogrammed? No. No, I'm here to argue that we need to address their grievances because they're not dependent upon Donald Trump. You know, the people support, and again, I'm not talking about the small number who are racist or haters. Okay, they are deplorable, but I don't think that's the vast majority of Trump supporters. I don't, and I think that we need to figure out like what's the grievance list that they have, and are some valid, and how do we address them if they are? Not that they need to be deprogrammed. Do some? Yeah, some, sure, of course, but not the majority. So, yeah. Doug, somehow Michael is still giving Republicans credibility where it isn't. No, I'm just trying to bring some nuance. I know people from that part of the state because my family, my relatives are from there, and they're like shit out of luck. They're not hating anybody. They're not racist, but they're going through a really rough time, and the economy has just passed them by. Are you going to tell me that 76 million people who voted for Donald Trump are all racist and haters? God help us if that's the case. I don't think that it is. Some of them. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the paper is blocking the mic. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, Connie. Thank you for telling me. Okay, well, so there you got more than you bargained for. I am not on CNN today. Wolf Blitzer will be on CNN today, even though I'm all dressed up and no place to go. There's a deli nearby. I think I'm going to go eat some eggs. I don't know. What do people do at 7:46 a.m. on a Saturday morning? Like, what do you guys do? By now, I would be saying so long, right? Go fishing? Yeah, Robert Tripp. I don't have my gear in the car. And I have things that I have to do post-show today. Thank you for that. Thank you for that suggestion. Go drink coffee, go for a walk, egg and pork roll. It's 8:47 p.m. here in Korea, says Thomas DeVerney. Work out. Oh, thanks, Carrie. Thank you. At work, pancakes, dog for walk, go to the beach. Sucks that you have to get up for nothing. You know what? I can't sleep anyway. Get a bagel, says Joe the Nerd. Go fishing. Coffee. We do chat every Saturday. Reading Terminal Market. Jazzercise. What are you kidding me? A hot yoga class. I have a buddy who takes that. Watch Naked Attraction. Spark one up, says William Mosley. Oh my God. Buttered Pop-Tart. Had one this morning. No kidding. Had one this morning. Watch something other than Fox. I watch everything. Walk around town. Time for exercise. Cheesesteak. Driving home from RFK event, says Scott Dowdy. Huh. What kind of an RFK event could there have been? Joseph Abrams. I'm going to make you a fly rod. Joseph, I use my dad's rods. You know, it's like a very special thing to me. He left me 3 fly fishing rods. He actually left me more than 3 nice ones. And I didn't use them for a while because I didn't feel like I was up to it. Not emotionally, but I didn't think that I was worthy. But now I fish with my dad's fly rods. Had to be a great breakfast cheesesteak sandwich out there for you somewhere. 448 in Portland, says William Kirby. I think it's dog weekend in Ocean City, says Tom Diapetrolo. RFK was in Flint yesterday. I'm going to try and see RFK's event Monday. I don't know if the timing could work out for me, but it might. Take an Amtrak to New York City. What would I do when I got there, Bill Snyder? Talk about your tomatoes. I got to clear out the garden. I have to clear out the garden. The garden is finally at an end. Make it a great day. Stay dry and safe. Well, that's a good message. All right. Thank you. Thank you all. That was a little extended, but I feel at least like I was on television today. Like I really was on television today with some friends, and I appreciate that. First thing I'm going to do is take off this tie. All right. Have a great day. Thank you for everything, for all of your support, and I'll see you soon. Okay? See ya.